Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is another Asian movie collection addendum video, and we're doing another feature of one particular box set release, and this is the Takashi Ishii based Angel Guts collection from Third Window Films. This is Region B Blu-ray. Alright, rated 18 for sexual violence, strong sex, nudity, sex references, and sexualized violence. Oh yes. So you should know what we're getting into here. Alright. I'll tell you my thoughts on these films maybe after I go through the Blu-ray set. But this includes Red Classroom, Nami, Red Porno, Red Vertigo, and Red Flash. A lot of red titles in this. So that's 5 movies. Alright, it's 5 movies. It's 403 minutes plus bonus features. So there's a lot of stuff to see here. Now again, this is the Third Window Films release. Let me fire up my notes real quick. Fire them up. Now I've been covering a number of Takashi Ishii box sets and Hisayasu Sato box sets. I covered the Four Tales of Nami, the other Ishii set, not too long ago. So let's just go through the special features first, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on the movies. Oh my, I forgot. This gets a little spicy here with some of the pictures. I'm sure I could show it. It's not showing too much, but you get like a red. Little red case in the middle here. That's pretty spicy there. And then it flips out. This is getting pretty close here. It'll be fine. It flips out, and then you get the interior artwork as well. I like the red. It's good. It made sense that they made the interior case red colored, given all the red, titles, right? And ooh, maybe I could show you the interior here. This flips out completely, and they actually have some manga artwork underneath the discs, which is a pretty interesting choice, because these are based on manga, actually, from way back in the day. So you can see the discs, and there's some manga artwork behind them. Maybe take one disc out here just to see. Make sure there's nothing too crazy. But yeah, here's an example of some of the artwork underneath the discs. So yeah, it's pretty nice. Very visually pleasing set. Very visually pleasing. Now they obviously have special features in this. Let me just tell you those first. So they basically have 4 discs. One disc has 2 movies on it, but the rest have 1, and a bunch of special features. So for Red Classroom, alright, you get a new audio commentary by Jasper Sharp. He's an expert on these types of films. Frankie Balboa video essay. 2 archival interviews by Takashi Ishii and the trailer. For Nami, you get new audio commentary by Jasper Sharp again. They're going to be informative. I haven't listened to them yet, but he's very informed on this stuff. James Balmont video essay, archival interview with Noboru Tanaka and the original trailer. And then disc 3 has Red Vertigo audio commentary by Tom Mess, another very informed guy, for the most part. Red Porno audio commentary by Sam Deegan. Alright, she's good as well. So they got some big name commentators in this set. Archival interview with Toshiharu Ikeda. We'll get to that soon. Archival interview with Takashi Ishii and original trailers. And then the 4th disc for Red Flash. Audio commentary by Jasper Sharp. Matthew Carter video essay and archival interview by Takashi Ishii. So you get a mix of commentaries. This is loaded with film commentaries, which will make each film even more interesting on a repeat watch, right? Because you typically would watch the film first, rewatch it with the commentary to get added context as to what's going on there. So you get a bunch of commentaries, a bunch of archival interviews with the directors of each film, and then trailers, and a few video essays as well. So it's pretty nice set of special features. And you get a little booklet here. It's a pretty thin booklet. Looks like a brief write-up. A brief write-up by Midori Suiren. And it looks like a little bit of information on each film, let's just say, and the production of each. So my thoughts on a few of these, right? The first thing to know, all right, is that there was a film in the Angel Guts series that's not included in this. All right, and that was Angel Guts High School Co-Ed. That rolls off the tongue. Angel Guts High School Co-Ed from 1978. It was an exploitation thriller directed by Chusei Sone. Not included in this collection. You could possibly find it online somewhere. Streaming or whatever. My thoughts on that one, it's basically a very darkly toned film. It's basically a bunch of motorcyclists terrorizing and assaulting women. Is basically the plot of that movie. And one of their little sisters gets involved. You know, pretty stylish film. Probably the nastiest of the whole franchise, though. And I think there's reasons why it wasn't included in the set. I think like one of the actresses just didn't, she's not promoting it or wanted it to be like swept under the rug or something. I mean, it's not that crazy of a movie. It's just pretty grimy and kind of disturbing and ugly stuff. You know what I mean? A lot of long assault scenes in that one. But some of the visuals were cool. Some scenes of bloody violence, but kind of a shallow film and really not that interesting from a story perspective. It gets kind of repetitive. And that film was about 1 hour and 19 minutes long. But, if you watch all the films in this set and you tend to like them, then maybe you find that one as like out of curiosity's sake. Because you could watch these in any order. They're all different stories. So the first film in this set, Angel Guts Red Classroom, also came out in the 1970s, in 1979. I would classify it as an exploitation drama directed by the same director as the first film, Chusei Sone. When a writer for a adult magazine watches an assault adult scene in a movie that's set in a school, he becomes obsessed with the lead actress of the film, within the film, Nami. And that's a character that repeats throughout these films. And this guy tries to find her, and he meets her, and stuff goes from there. So Red Classroom has lots of sex and some photo shoots, which should be, it's par for the course for this franchise. You know what I mean? But it feels like a normal, good quality pink film when compared to High School Co-Ed, which was very exploitative, like extremely so. So the interaction between the leads in Red Classroom is based on some dialogue, and they're fairly nice to each other, which, is a bit different considering the style of some of these films. And that's the core of the film, and it actually works well enough. Nicely shot, colorful lighting during the night scenes, and the ending is effective. I think Red Classroom is actually a good movie. Actually has some character and story behind it. And, lots of sex, of course. It's only 1 hour and 19 minutes long as well. A lot of these films are between the 70 and 8 and 90 minute, runtime range. So they're very easy to marathon if you like this kind of thing. But Red Classroom's a pretty good flick. Angel Guts Nami, also released in 1979, is more of an exploitation thriller directed by Noboru Tanaka. And Nami in this one is a journalist. And she's kind of a different character in each movie, played by a kind of a different actress in each movie as well. And she investigates stories of assault victims. And she finds herself becoming more obsessed with the horror of their attacks. So the lead actress in this one is Eri Kanuma. And she gives the best performance as Nami in the franchise so far. One of my favorites of the whole franchise, actually. She's given the opportunity in this one to be charismatic and charming. And she does do some questionable things, though. But Nami's actually the main character in this one, and that does help. There's a bit of commentary on news media and stuff like that. Does include some disturbing moments in this, some assaults and things like that. A few of these moments get pretty intense, but that's what gives it that exploitation thriller vibe that you're kind of looking for. Some weird scenes in this one as well. That's quite, I don't even know. It's hard to tell without giving spoilers, but there's some dodgy scenes in this. But I found them to be entertaining as well. Nicely shot and colorful. All these films are nicely shot, and I've mentioned before that pink films and Japanese exploitation films kind of have a level up sometimes on some of the American softcore stuff you may have seen from like the 80s and 90s, because these have some style to them, and they're visually interesting. There's like a short dinner scene in this one that has like an awesome skyline in the background that's really neat. And, you could tell this is a pretty good flick. This one's 1 hour and 38 minutes long, but I enjoyed this one. It's a good flick. And you could tell some of these movies, when you're watching them, they filmed some scenes guerrilla style in public. You know what I mean? Where they just took the camera out, had the actors go out at like a train station or like on the street and act something out. And like there's standby, like people are just doing their normal life, no extras. You know what I mean? So it's pretty interesting to see that a few times. So the next one, Angel Guts Red Porno from 1981, an exploitation dramatic thriller directed by my boy Toshiharu Ikeda. And he directed Evil Dead Trap, Mermaid Legend. He's directed some cool flicks. So when I saw this for the first time, I was like excited, but it's a little disappointing, this one, Red Porno. I probably get flagged for that term or whatever. So Nami in this one is a staff member at a department store, and her libido is satisfied in her alone time until a coworker talks her into subbing for a adult modeling job, and that has certain complications. So this one has some very perverted moments, a few bizarre scenes of, how do I describe it? Self-pleasure. One involves an egg. Yeah, an egg. Like an egg. But anyway, there's a scene involving oil. That's about all I'll say. It does get pretty raunchy early on. It's like the first act of this movie is just sex scene after sex scene after sex scene, and at only 67 minutes long, this is 1 hour and 7 minutes, it takes like 25 minutes before a story even remotely begins, and that's my biggest problem with this. It's just too much at the start. Could you at least space it out and infuse some story along the way? The lead actress, Jun Izumi, is very attractive and gives a good performance, but her interactions with her lover, and there's an otaku type dude, it's just not that interesting. Not as interesting as, the last film here. A few brief scenes of suspense. One pretty disgusting act that I won't get into. So these movies are like they do go a little bit too far in spots. Too far as in they want to disturb you at certain moments, whereas other times it feels more like entertaining, wildness. You know what I'm saying? So it does, kind of skirt that line in terms of like purely entertaining and a little bit disturbing. There's one scene near the end involving a kotatsu table. It's pretty intense, and this movie kind of almost won me over like near the end, and it's nicely shot, as is typical with this, but it's definitely one of the least impressive films of this box set, and that's surprising with Toshiharu Ikeda as the director. So, a little disappointing, Red Porno. I may as well just say the word. It's the title of the film, guys. What do you want me to do? Then we get Red Vertigo, okay, directed by Takashi Ishii. All right, he directed this one. And this was from 1988, an exploitation dramatic thriller. So Nami in this one is a nurse, and she's an unwilling object of her patient's lust. She's hit by a car while fleeing from someone, and the driver of the car takes her as a sexual prisoner. Now, Mayako Katsuragi stars in this one as Nami, and Naoto Tanaka has a big role, primarily known as a comedy actor, but he did star in some of Takashi Ishii's earlier films. And his character in this one's pretty perverted, but he seems to engage in slimy acts only after circumstances present themselves. He doesn't really seek out being a degenerate or a slimy guy, and he does have his own relatable problems. But, sometimes things just kind of happen and he goes a little too far, you know what I mean? But his dynamic with Nami in this, it has a little bit of nuance to it. Okay, so we're back to a film that's a little bit more, has a little bit more of a story and character basis to it. The setup is more engaging than the last film, all right, that's for sure. And it does prioritize character interaction. It actually makes it feel a little bit less exploitative because of that. Some cool scenes in this. I like the scene showing a bathtub full of water with yellow light. Pretty interesting shot there. But not as many memorable individual scenes in this one. But I did enjoy the ending. It's a pretty good flick. All right, only 1 hour and 13 minutes long. So, you could tell, there's a little bit of variability in terms of entertainment value in these, but they're all either, close to being good or good, you know what I mean? In this set, at least. And then you finally get Red Flash, also known as Red Lightning, 1994, exploitation thriller, also directed by Takashi Ishii. It was also included in the Tales of Nami box set that I reviewed a few months ago. And I think somebody was questioning Third Window Films, why they would release the same movie in 2 different box sets within a year of each other. And I think their explanation was that Red Flash was a bonus in that set to kind of whet your palate to watch one of these films and give anticipation for this box set or something along those lines. So, just so you know, though. So, Nami in this one, this is a thriller, I would say. A magazine designer agrees to substitute for a cameraman during the shooting of an adult film. A brutal assault scene unleashes distant, forgotten memories, and strange things start happening to her. Maiko Kawakami plays Nami in this one. Again, very different actresses playing this character based on the movie. This one's a pretty cool flick. It has some strengths of Ishii are represented in this one. You get kind of a gloomy mood, interesting interaction between the characters, some slow burn suspense. It does get a bit bloody at spots. There, of course, are sex scenes. In every one of these movies, you're going to get sex scenes and or assault scenes mixed in, okay? The story is more focused than a few of the other films of this kind and in this box set, and it crafts a little bit of a mystery to it, which kind of keeps you in it in between the, the pink stuff. It does have some psychological value, and the music's good. It has a percussion vibe going on, which is a little different. 1 hour and 28 minutes long. I enjoyed this one. So I would say the majority of these films are enjoyable to a greater or lesser degree. And, it depends. If you're, we've been on a real big Japanese exploitation kick lately with Blu-ray releases over the last few years. So if you've been liking, what's been coming out, you'll probably like this box set. And I'm glad I got it. A few of these films I rated lower the first time I saw them. A few of them I never saw before. And so it was definitely worthy. And these type of films, you're when you're in the mood for them, they kind of hit the spot. You know what I mean? So it's nice to see this stuff keep getting releases, folks. Hopefully we keep getting more. I need more. Of 80s and 90s Japanese. I wouldn't call it sleaze. Maybe. But yeah, we'll see what else we get, folks. And if you've seen these, let me know what you think. Do you have a favorite of this franchise? Did you, let me know your thoughts. And as always, folks, I'll see you next time.